The Shield chapters have come together. This is one of the biggest gatherings of powers of the Adeptus Astartes that we've seen in many, many years. It's all down to Guilliman wanting to retake the 500 worlds, to restore it to that glorious glory that shone so bright during the Great Crusade. Some of these chapters are old, some of them are new, some have been reborn with the fire of their death. So let's jump in and let's take a look at them all. Now, for those of you who are still confused on what the hell these Shield chapters are, look in the background right now. This is the image that they put out, and it says the Shield chapters. Appointed by Guilliman, the Shield chapters have been charged with the defense of Ultramar, no matter how far its borders extend. Which is a very, very spicy line, because that's why the Ordo Astartes are throwing such a fit at the moment against Guilliman, because they're seeing this as a big swipe of power from the Adeptus Astartes. Anyway, it goes on to say, alongside the Ultramarines themselves stand 9 of their successor chapters. Bound to their resurrected gene sire by blood and duty both, these chapters' homeworlds lie beyond the churning madness of the Great Rift, lost amidst the Imperium Nihilus, vanished into uncertainty. As such, each has been afforded a base of operations within Ultramar that they might better defend the Ultramarine realm until a time comes when hopefully they may set out and reclaim their own. So if you look at the video right now, it has been broken into time frames, and each one of those time frames is dedicated to a chapter that is taken part. There's a blurb of text with some information around them. First, I'm going to start, of course, with the Ultramarines, the main chapter that is taking part in the 500 worlds, and it states, the Ultramarines, motivated by their tantalizing promise of mythical glories long lost, the Ultramarines strive harder than any to achieve the conquest of Greater Ultramar. Indeed, so fervent is their determination to honour the 9 possible commands of their gene sire that some amongst the chapter risk sacrificing their famed nobility and precious connection to humanity upon the altar of merciless expediency. And it says there, courage and honour, the Ultramarines battle cry. Nothing really over the top for the Ultramarines. It's the Ultramarines being Ultramarines. There is a line in there like says like they're in 9 possible command of their gene sire. We saw that a little bit with Titus, of course, when it's like Guilliman asked the impossible. Nothing is impossible if you're a space marine. You keep going until you die in the Emperor's name. That is the only way forward. Next up is the Reborn. This is a new chapter, and again, image in the background as we read along with this. The Reborn, created as part of the Ultima founding, so that's when Guilliman was resurrected, and that was the Ultima founding for the Primaris Marines. The Reborn are dedicated to the embodying the might and the dutiful determination of their resurrected Primarch. This focus finds expression in a talent for armored warfare. Their mechanized spearheads of the Reborn strike like the Primarch's blazing sword, while in defense of their dug-in tanks provide indomitable as Guilliman's vaunted will. These guys, armored spearheads, tanks, stuff like that, they kind of sound like, I don't know, Iron Warriors a little bit, don't they? Use a lot of armor. We have to keep an eye on these Reborn, right? Maybe they're sons of Perturabo. Maybe that's why they like armor so much. Look at the Sons of the Phoenix. They're pretending to be Imperial Fists, so we all know that they're not really Imperial Fists. Well, I don't think they're Imperial Fists. Anyway, but there we go. The Reborn, they're a part of this. Again, brand new chapter, founded in the Ultima, founding with all the other Primaris chapters. Next up, we have one of my favourite chapters, and this is the Scythes of the Emperor. Amazing colour scheme, amazing lore. Again, image in the background. The Scythes of the Emperor, all but destroyed when High Fleet Kraken overran their homeworld of Sofa. The Scythes of the Emperor were fortified by an influx of Primaris reinforcements, driven by a soul-deep hatred of the Tyranids. The chapter's warriors now wage one bloody campaign after another to purge all aliens and other threats from the eastern reaches of Greater Ultramar. It says here, Fortress Monastery, Orbital Station, Aegea, reinstated location, the geostationary orbit over Sofa, planetary status, Pederium, Infestus, status, high battle readiness, deployments to reconquer Sofa, environs ongoing. Now, there was a book called The Great Work, if I'm not mistaken, that featured Belisarius' Call and the Scythes of the Emperor, where they went back to Sofa. They killed one of the Gene Stealer patriarchs on there, if I'm not mistaken. They did, I can't really remember the story, but they killed something big on there, and they began to terraform the planet, or Call was saying he was going to re-terraform the planet to bring Sofa back to life. So maybe this is the staging area now while they purge it, then they're going to terraform it, and Sofa will spring from the ashes, and they will get, the Scythes of the Emperor will get their homeworld back in all its bloody glory. Hopefully, that's what happens, and they do get their planet back, because, again, I have massive respect for this chapter, the colour scheme, the lore about them. It's really, really sad. Read up about it. It is absolutely really emotional how they lost their homeworld. Next up, we have the Silver Skulls, and I like to call them the Tattoo Marines, because in their lore, they actually tattoo, like, battles and honours actually on their skin and stuff. So they're like fully tattooed Space Marines, which I think, again, is really, really cool. Image in the background, the Silver Skulls are disparaged by some amongst the defenders of Ultramar as superstitious, even barbaric. Certainly, the tribal cultures of their homeworld, Varsavia, hopefully I pronounced that right, are brutal and have left their mark on the chapter's customs. They place great stock in their omen readings of their librarians, while their practices of hunting foes, heads of trophies, the finest of which they coat in silver, and tattooing their skin with honor and kill markings, are often viewed as archons. Again, that's what I like about them, all the tattoos and the markings and stuff. They're really, really like just out there as the Ultramarines, which set them apart. Yet none can doubt their chapter's savage effectiveness in both close combat and siege warfare. Dynamic and tremendously fierce. When roused, the Silver Skulls are as fitting as terror weapons to be deployed against the enemies of Ultramar in this dark and bloody age. Now, straight away, the symbol on their armor has caused a lot of debates in the community. Some say that these are loyalist Iron Warriors that gave themselves to Guilliman and the Ultramarines and stuff to stay on their side. A lot of people said this was the chapter that Dantioch founded. Again, if you read the Horus Heresy, you'll know that's not true at all. But yeah, there's definitely something similar between that helmet and Dantioch's helmet. Maybe this chapter was founded in honor of Dantioch and his actions that aided the Ultramarines during the Horus Heresy. Absolutely no idea, but I love the chapter. I love the traditions. I love the way they do things. I think it's a 10 out of 10 chapter, and I'd absolutely love to make them on the tabletop, because that's how bloody cool they are. And the next chapter we have is the Avenging Sons, or as I like to call them, the Stealers of Imperial Fist Successor markings, because that is an Iron Knight marking. Get your own markings, Sons of Guilliman, you bunch of thieves. So it says here, image in the background, the Avenging Sons, the last chapter fashioned during the Ultima founding. The Avenging Sons epitomize the cold and terrifying anger of their Primarch towards the traitor and the heretic. The original home of Draconis Major, again, hopefully I have not butchered that, I probably have, was destroyed during the Noctis Eterna, and all their battle brothers believed lost in the battle. This new incarnation of the chapter has been gifted a new homeworld, Calamacius, again, I probably butchered that, within the 500 worlds. So this chapter was previously destroyed. Well, it's thinking it's been destroyed. There's no evidence of it. How about we have the Avenging Sons and then the new Avenging Sons, right? What if they meet and, you know, the chapter wasn't lost? That would be a great twist in the story. But what we've got now is a chapter that is thought to have been destroyed, that has been reborn in the fires of the Primaris Marine, gifted a new world now, and they have a new mandate now to take part in the 500 worlds, protect the 500 worlds, and do their part. We are his vengeance, the Avenging Sons battle cry. Really interesting lore about this. It's just, you know, get your own chapter symbol and make your own thing, right? Stop stealing from the Sons of Dawn like you always do, Ultramarines. And moving on, the next one are the Sons of Orar. Again, please, Emperor, forgive me if I've butchered this. The Sons of Orar, image in the background, deriving from the name of Captain Orar, the chapter believe him to be an ancient hero of the Ultramarines and claim him as their spiritual patron. Though their combat doctrines are codex compliant, the Sons of Orar place additional emphasis on stealth operations and sudden close quarter strikes, meaning their battle brothers are especially adept as vanguard operations, which is pretty cool. I like that. Again, in the background on the other side, it says reconnaissance target Gavromar, status Perditium, Tratus, Diabolus. I mean, I'm just butchering all these words. I'm so sorry. I'm sure there's people banging their heads against the comment section right now. They've given 4 companies, and it says caution, unexpected empiric anomalies, situation unpredictable, inquisitorial assistance required. So, heresy? A lot of heresy? I don't know, make 4 companies, that's 400 Marines, well, potentially 400 Marines deploying on a single target, and they need some inquisitorial assistance. That sounds spicy to me. Hopefully, it's not the Ordo Astartes, because they're already out looking at these guys like, what are you up to? What are you up to with all these Marines gathering with all these forces? We don't trust you. And next up, we have one of my favorite chapters. Actually, I was thinking about painting these for a long time, but doing white and blue would literally send me insane. It's the Novamarines. Again, image in the background. I just love the Novamarines. As a strict adherence to the Codex Astartes, the Novamarines are extremely efficient and effective fighting force, somewhat hidebound. They're a fleet-based chapter which allowed them to spread their strength through the fluctuating bounds of Greater Ultramar and fight reactively wherever earnest threats endanger the continual reclamation of the stellar realm. And it says there, the existence of the alien is a problem with but one solution: extermination. This is why I absolutely love, right? I just love the Novamarines. They're amazing, right? They're typically top tier. Chapter Master Lucretius Corvo is their guy. So the Novamarines are part of it. Fleet-bound chapter. They're everywhere, fighting everywhere, you know, spreading the word of Guilliman, spreading the word of the Ultramarines, the Ultramar, right? Taking the fight to the alien where it is. And there is a lot of aliens taking part in the 500 Worlds, which I am going to do a video on. Orcs and Tyranids are still a part of the 500 World campaign, but that's going to be a separate video, which we focus on hopefully sometime very soon. Now, the next chapter is a very interesting chapter. Again, image in the background right now. The Praetors of Ultramar, formed from the Unnumbered Sons, whose gene scene was derived from Ultramarines. So the Unnumbered Sons were basically like a pre-Crusade format of Astartes from all the chapters bound to work together. So Guilliman said, you know, if Space Wolves are working with Imperial Fists, when they come to work together in their big chapters, everything would go more smoothly and stuff. It's just a way to make Space Marines get on with each other rather than have these type of, you know, your team, my team kind of thing. We're all on the same team. Let's work with each other. So all the Unnumbered Sons who were from the Ultramarine gene seed formed the Praetors of Ultramar. They have fought alongside Battle Brothers from many other chapters and learned to respect their fellow methods. Again, as I just said, thus the Praetors of Ultramar undertake the sanctioned study of other chapters' strategies and tactics, seeking broader context by which to understand and implement the teachings of the Codex Astartes. Very interesting. Fortress Monastery, the Crucible, Joras, the third moon of Quintan, location, Inner Ultramar, the Massili system, status, garrison strength 10%, all viable forces deployed to the Greater Ultramarian Recarnation, aspirant intake is ongoing. So they're recruiting more and more. Everything that they've got, well, 90% of it has been slung out to the void to help take back the 500 Worlds. Really cool lore about that chapter. Again, it's a new chapter, cool new lore. Next up, we have the Doom Eagles. Again, image in the background. The Doom Eagles, with the somber and morbid culture, the Doom Eagles entirely focus on acceptance of the inevitable death. Die in the name of the Emperor, right? That's what it is to be a Space Marine. Being a Space Marine, however, this Maccabee mindset does not weaken their resolve, but rather hardens their minds and spirits. Utterly resigned to their eventual fates, they favor high-risk assaults and make extensive use of jump pack equipped warriors to bring inescapable death to the foe. Duty unto death, mate. What an absolute baller. Amazing battle cry. Doom Eagles battle cry. I love it. Again, really cool. take all the high-risk assignments. They know they're going to die. That's their duty to die in the Emperor's name, to die in Guilliman's name. To be a Space Marine is to accept death. As I keep saying, you die with the greatest honor going into battle. So these guys are taking all the high-risk operations, right? If we're going to die, we're going to die in the most glorious way possible for the Imperium. And the final one is the Aquiloan Brotherhood. Kind of a funky chapter symbol as well. I really, really like that. So again, it states, image in the background, the Aquiloan Brotherhood. While the Aquiloan Brotherhood adheres to the Codex Astartes, the chapter's battle brothers exhibit heightened zeal and detestation. Am I saying that right? I'm not saying it right. For what they perceive as deviant faiths, be it chaos worship, xenocults, or even misguided forms of veneration directed towards Guilliman himself. They display, well, these guys sound nice. They display delight in the use of flame weapons and heavy firepower. Let's not talk about flame weapons around me. I've just had a firepower against such practitioners that some amongst the shield chapters find distasteful. Several brutal massacres have been attributed to the chapter since the Ultramarine reclamation began, blamed in part on their refusal to employ human envoys or diplomacy to convince the rulers, loyal imperial worlds, that they should pledge fealty to Ultramar. Mate, I can definitely see why the Inquisition has peeked their head up at what Guilliman's doing. Some of the actions of their Astartes is not the best reflection upon the Primarch himself. Maybe I have to do a video. Is Guilliman really seizing power? What is Guilliman really up to? We haven't had enough, right? Enough dirt on the Ultramarines on this channel. We need even more dirt. Guilliman betraying his brothers during the Unification Wars, and now Guilliman trying to form his own little empire once again. Something's not right here, chaps, right? Something is not right here, brothers. Do you know what? Maybe I back the Ordo Astartes on this one. I'm just kidding. I'd never back the Inquisition over a fellow battle brother, or battle cousin, should I say. Anyway, that's enough waffling from me. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. These are the shield chapters. Pretty cool information. Again, I'm going to do some more lore dedicated to these when I do my summary of the 500 world stuff, which hopefully will be coming very, very soon, because they do take part in it. They are fighting against the Necrons, the Orcs, some Chaos forces that pop up in this book as well. Death Guard. There's a lot of things in there, which again, I'm going to do in a dedicated, in a separate video. But thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that, post it down below. I'm having a nice little chin wag down there, as we always do. See ya. Have a great day, and bye-bye.